Personal and professional life's getting a little bit busier, and it makes it hard to keep to a schedule. But I will, as often as possible, continue to put out 2 shows a week, as often as possible. If it might have to go down to 1 a week, but if you search Between Awesome and Disaster on Facebook and click like, you can see keep up to date with our release schedule. Today, I'm going to share my conversation with my friend Joseph Roberts. He's a comedian, and one of the things that we connected on early was he's a big fan of the rap group Insane Posse, and I was really into that group when I was 14. There's a huge stigma attached to liking them, but me and Joe discuss their music, which I think very few people actually do, and then we get into sort of his life with comedy, and it was a pretty good conversation. It was a guy I didn't know super well, and I got to know him a little bit better. So let's go now to my chat with Joseph Roberts. Exactly, it is free. Well, I still use GarageBand from 2008.
Is GarageBand free for PC?
I don't think it's free for. I don't think it is for PC, but I know any Mac it comes with it. So.
Never had a Mac in my life.
Yeah.
Nope.
Is that true, Joseph Roberts?
Yeah.
That's how you know people start recording, when they say the person's full name. Because how else does it come up so naturally like that?
I still don't know whether to put like an S on the back of my name or not. Like,
yeah.
I sometimes I write Roberts, sometimes I write Robert.
Oh yeah, you kind of change between the two.
I don't know. Now that Gary's dead, I feel like I should just use my last name.
Right. Who's Gary?
Like Gary's this used to be this open micer who was like retarded.
Oh yeah, I remember Gary.
He was on
Gary Marinoff.
Rock.
Yeah, I remember Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was I remember the first couple times I've met him being slightly weirded out, but then I kind of realized he's kind of just a sweet older guy.
Well, what freaked me out was like people would be like, "What? He's not retarded." It's like, what? If he's not retarded, that shit's super offensive.
Well, I think that's what it was funny. Like, he was the older guy who was saying like trying to speak like he's a rapper, you know?
That was great. I missed his rap phase, but there's lots of clips of it.
Mm-hmm. And you're still in your rap phase, right?
I don't know. Like we were talking earlier. Sorry.
It's okay.
We were talking earlier, like how you were, all in different sorts of things. I am as well. Like, I love ICP, but my favorite band is probably the Beatles, Nirvana, ICP.
Classics.
Biggie Smalls.
So you don't let, like, hip-hop turf wars dictate your choice of good music?
No, I like good music.
When did you get into ICP? Because that was the first time I think we had a conversation. Was I was doing this bit about how being into ICP is the only thing you can't move to New York to be accepted for.
That's hilarious, too. That's really funny.
And that was, like, the first time I think we, like, met doing an open mic somewhere.
Yeah, I was probably like, whoop, whoop.
I think so. That's the appropriate response in that situation.
Yeah, I was just so excited. I really thought I'd meet more people that were into ICP when I moved to the city.
Yeah.
Because New York is like one of the first places that labeled them a gang, so I thought it was like a problem. I was like, oh, well, maybe I can get affiliated and, not have to worry about my financial situation. But there's nobody here.
Yeah, I saw one guy wearing who had like a Jekyll on their backpack on the train once. I was like, how did you get here? When did you? Well, first of all, let me ask. Let me ask you. Like, are you from New York? Where are you from?
I was born in White Plains General Hospital, and my parents divorced. So I grew up in Vermont, spent my summers in New York.
Oh yeah, I would have never guessed Vermont looking at you.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Vermont's split. It's like half, especially Barrie, Vermont. Vermont is like half rednecks. I guess it's half rednecks, a quarter hippies, and a quarter like criminals.
Like people trying to kind of get away into the mountains.
More just like people trying to fuck your teenager kids, and steal your car radio.
I see.
Car shopping and just drugs.
Mm-hmm. So what category did your family fall into?
Well, my mom bought a house in Barrie, and she bought one up a hill, lots of hills in Vermont. So it's kind of isolated away from all that. I didn't realize how shitty Barrie was until I moved out of and moved into the city itself.
Mm-hmm. When was that?
When I graduated. Well, yeah, when I graduated, I first rented my mom's house, the house I grew up in,
Mm-hmm.
and then I moved out onto Summer Street, which is like a ghetto area in Barrie, and I lived next to Crazy Mike, Crackhead Mike, and Not So Crazy Mike. And Not So Crazy Mike was the worst one of them all. He was Sidious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good when it's always because I had friends like that too in high school that always go by some kind of weird name. Like you never learn their real name until years later. So your parents divorced when you were really young?
Two, yeah. So they've always been divorced.
Mm-hmm. But did you have them both growing up?
Not for a while. I guess my dad went through a little homeless phase, and I couldn't tell you exactly what age, but I always remember him in my life. But I think there was a year or two where it was only phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I've had those. I had the phase of after my parents split, and my dad really messed up that I think I talked to him 4 times a year for a couple of years because just kind of hanging on to not liking him as a personal narrative.
It's hard too when you live with one parent because they hate each other. I can't imagine trying to be non-biased with a kid about somebody I fucking hate.
Right.
My parents hate each other, and my mom's like, "Oh, your dad's a cocksucker. You're just like your dad." And my mom's like, my dad's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna say anything about your mom, but I got nothing good to say."
And that's I found to be the higher road usually. So you grew up with your mom. What did she do? Were you an only child?
For my mom, yeah. My dad has 3 other kids
Mm-hmm.
from another marriage.
Gotcha.
My older sisters. But my mom, she worked. She got by. She ended up taking care of retards and made a pretty good living doing that.
So she was a special education teacher?
No.
Or something like that?
No, in Vermont, she was a home provider. And so she gave out her home to people. Well, she started out as a respite, which is just going to these people's houses and taking the mentally handicapped people off of their hands. And the weekend. And she ended up getting a big house and being like, "Oh, I'm going to move a retard in here," and then have people come to my house to take the retard off my hands.
Gotcha.
So, she got a couple retards in there. She moved me down to the basement and then moved this guy upstairs. And that's when she started making money. And then she was rich for, I don't know, 4 years.
So you didn't have too much of a stable upbringing.
No, it was stable. My mom was strict. She was a fucking 5-year-old trying to raise a kid. I
Yeah.
can't imagine trying to raise a kid. So,
Yeah, neither can I.
she went through her phases, and I was there along with her.
Right on. When did you get into the Insane Clown Posse?
Not until I moved into Summer Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what age are we talking? Are we talking like 13, 14, 19?
Yeah. I didn't move into the Summer Street until I graduated high school. Like, that's like when I realized how shitty Barry was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Not So Crazy Mike, he got morphine. And he's like, I'm going to sell you the first one for $5. And my ex-fiance and I split the morphine, and it was like, wow, morphine's crazy awesome. Let's get some more.
Yeah. It's
and
like...
We did not, but we could have. It's fucking crazy, morphine.
Oh, yeah. It's like prescription heroin, basically.
Everyone in Vermont is on heroin.
Yeah.
That might sound like
heroin
general,
town up there.
But it's pretty relevant.
Yeah. I don't understand the allure of heroin. Like, I understand, like, it's marijuana because it, like, relaxes you, and I understand cocaine because it gets you, like, hyped up to party. But heroin, I think, would just make me sleepy.
Well, the problem is that more than one case, I'm not saying this is everyone who's on that, but either they get prescribed opiates like Oxycontin or something. Like my friend Joe got into a car accident. Someone died. Big thing in our high school.
Mm-hmm.
This guy fucking is on Oxycontin, And then all of a sudden...
Yeah, I've been on it before.
They take something like that away, and then what's he supposed to do? It's not like they wean him off of it. And even if they do try, I mean, the guy's got a physical addiction to it, And so heroin's so much fucking cheaper.
Right.
And it's literally, I remember someone, I think his name was Shane, told a friend of mine that it was cheaper for him to do heroin twice a week than get Oxycontins once a week.
So that's economics at that point.
Yeah. And also, we got people in Afghanistan guarding poppy seed fields.
Sure.
So heroin is like more prevalent than ever.
Mm-hmm. So you're 19. You have a fiance. How long did that last?
Oh, God, until I was 22, 21. No, like 22, I guess.
Oh, so like 3 years.
Too long.
Too long.
God,
Too long.
Like, I was just a sucker. She was a whore. God bless her. But
Okay. Yes, I'm picturing the crew that you're running with in your late teens in my head, like, because I have similar people like that, like because I think maybe this happens more so in comic circles where there's a greater tendency to run with all sorts of all types of people, because I would imagine there was probably a time when I would have been like, oh my gosh, someone did heroin, I have to run, because I was, raised in the just say no Nancy Reagan era.
Mm-hmm. I was scared to death of my mom, so I didn't mess around with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start smoking weed until everything changed my senior year when I stopped taking Concerta, which is a ADHD medicine, which they use to cripple kids.
Yeah.
And make them, fall into line.
Mm-hmm. So you got off that, and then
I was like, fuck school.
Yeah. And then you started listening to clowns from the Midwest.
That was like a year after.
Okay.
But yeah.
How is that? Because this is I've decided this is like the pillar of our like work of our dynamic is the like foundation is knowledge of ICP.
It is nice to talk about it with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where you've fallen off. I haven't even listened to the last 2 albums. I guess like technically 3 because the Missing Link is a double album.
Yeah. I did read that, like Lost and Found, I think, are what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Missing Link, Lost and Found.
Yeah. I probably started to trail off after The Wraith came out.
That's understandable, though.
Because I remember it came out, and I like as a whole just thought it was kind of okay. Like it only had like maybe 1 or 2 kind of good songs.
The problem with
me personally,
the problem with The Wraith is that there are a lot of great songs like halfway. Like there are a lot of good songs that are like either a minute 50 seconds long, or that are a minute 50 seconds into the song. There are a lot of like this is a song, and now this is a weird song, or like bonus songs.
Right.
Like Bitch Slap is on the Wraith.
Uh-huh.
And that is a fucking, that's such a fun fucking song.
Yeah.
The bitch slap master up in the place. A bitch slap your train wreck face.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what Get Your Wicked On was the other one I liked, other than Homies, but that's the one I think most people know now. That and Miracles, but
I like Birthday. That's fun. Damn, what's another one off that one? Where he's
because they had some rock songs on that, like It Rains Diamonds, I think was another.
I hated the rock songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always take that as them trying to be like, hey, we can do all this stuff. Fuck you.
Yeah, because that and Jekyll Brothers kind of had those more rap metal influences, maybe because that's what was going on at the time.
You can't compare Jekyll Brothers to the Wraith, though. I mean, it's just two different styles.
Yeah. Like, what would you say could you compare the Wraith to? Because I would almost, like, it's a concept, like it has this whole, it has like this concept album feel to it, but it doesn't feel like any rap that I've ever really heard. Like, I can't trace it back to any other artist.
Yeah, like, except for the parts where they cut out and just go to, like, wicked shit, like with Isham. I don't know, like I said, I feel like almost every song is, like, 2 parts.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I wonder if that was because they had that whole, like, split, because that was technically a split, too, because they had what was it, Hell's Pit the year after?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you, if you listened to Hell's Pit after the Wraith.
Because
they're both, like, the same album.
Yeah, I tried to, but the songs on Hell's Pit just kind of felt kind of thrown together.
Really?
To me, nothing about it really grabbed me. Like, I appreciated that they were trying to go back to a more minimalist style, like their older albums, like Carnival of Carnage, I think is what they said they wanted to do, but just nothing about it really grabbed me. Like, I didn't have like any kind of hook or anything. Their songs didn't really have any hooks that I could grab into. What was the first ICP song you heard?
I got into ICP because of Your Rebel Flag, because Vermont is full of rednecks, and they fucking have rebel flags on the back of their car, on the back of their pickup trucks, and they're all bitches.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot of that in Barrie.
Oh yeah, Barrie is probably the least of it, because you have all these people like been to jail that they'll be like, I'm from the streets and stuff. So
right.
But they're just fucking faggots in the woods.
But you're still in Vermont.
Yeah, you're always in Vermont. You'll never do nothing.
Because is Vermont considered part of New England, or is that okay?
Yeah, Vermont.
All right,
New England.
Okay, so you're late teens. You have a fiance,
and my friend Damien, who is really good friend of mine. He's a rapper, and he got me into Insane Clown Posse. And I was like, hey, burn me this song. It was Your Rebel Flag and the Nedden Game. I just thought that shit was so funny.
Yeah, that was that was a really funny song. Malenko's probably the one that I'll still go back to every now and then and go, okay, this is cool. Piggy Pie was my favorite song off of that.
See, I'm still like super into it. I just got my phone replaced, and I had over 2 gigs of fucking songs, and over a gig of them were ICP songs. Because like when I'm going through the album, there's so many songs I just want to have on hand in case I'm feeling them,
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there's lots of songs I don't want on hand. But
yeah. What are some of those songs?
No, just raining like shiny diamonds. But at the end of that is fucking bitch slap. So I still put shiny diamonds on my fucking phone, so I can skip past 4 minutes of shitty diamond songs.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't like them singing. You can't fucking sing, dude. Rap.
No, yeah. It's and Eminem kind of runs into the same thing sometimes. Like when he tries to sing, I
stopped listening to Eminem after Relapse. I was like, this is the best he'll ever do. He's never going to put out anything close to horrorcore or wicked shit. This is
Yeah.
the best you'll ever do for me.
Yeah. Horrorcore was like the first rap that I could get into as like a slightly demented white kid in suburban America.
Well, it's fun, you know?
Yeah, and it's fun, and it's rooted in some kind of the dark thoughts that a lot of people probably have.
You ever listen to the Gravediggers?
No, who's that?
Oh, they're fucking RZA's in them from the Wu-Tang. They're from Brooklyn, and they put like an album out, I think, in either '89 or '90, and it's the same same time as ICP started their Joker's cards and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just fucking Brooklyn horrorcore. It's real fucking cool.
Nice. The
Yeah.
Gravediggers.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Did you
6 feet
foresee?
deep.
What's that?
6 feet deep.
6 Feet Deep. That's the album.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to check that out. So, did you foresee ICP's "We're Christians" reveal?
It was like I got spoiled for me. My friend Damien was trying to get me into it. He's like, "Oh no, dude, they're not." Cause like I was like everyone else, you know. At 18, I was like, "Yeah, fucking clowns, paint in the face and shit." You
Mhm.
know, I was ignorant. I didn't listen to nothing. Like I was just judging them based off of other people,
Sure.
because that's what we do, like habitually as people. You know.
Is judge people based off of what other people tell you?
Yeah. We don't form our own opinions lots of times.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he was like, "Yeah, well, they have the song about killing pedophiles," and I was like, "That's fucking hilarious." And "To Catch a Predator" is a fucking funny ass solid song, man.
That's a really funny song. I
That's
also like that they have like they power bomb somebody through a table on
it's
stage
great.
during that
Lead,
song.
man. They're fucking they're the JCW champion. Was that the fucking the first concert I went to?
Yeah.
Which was like a month ago, maybe a month and a half.
Oh, that was the first time you'd seen them live.
Ever, yeah.
How was it?
It was fucking amazing. It was
Yeah.
fucking great. Yeah, it was. I can't wait to see them live again.
Nice. Where did you see him? The Electric
I
Factory.
went all the way up to Poughkeepsie.
Oh, to Poughkeepsie.
I had to buy 2 tickets. It was the worst.
Oh man.
I stayed outside. I mean, I couldn't go home until 7 a.m. because I bought the tickets. Like, all right, round trip. You know, met a couple juggalos.
Mhm.
Went to the concert. Like at the train station, they got on a 4 o'clock bus
Right.
train. It was great. You
It
know,
was great.
yeah.
Drenched in Faygo, I imagine.
I found this glass cube where you could press a button, and heat would come out
Where was that?
in the train station.
Just a glass
Yeah,
cube.
like when you go up out of the city, they have these like waiting areas, and if you
Mhm.
wait in them, I mean, I'm surprised like nobody lived in that shit,
Right.
because I would spend a night in there if I had to.
No, that makes sense. Climate controlled waiting areas. I think like Dubai has them too. I was coming back from Thailand in Dubai, and they have their bus stops. It's like a giant air conditioned tube, and you can pretty much go through most of the city without having to go outside.
That's nice,
Yeah,
I
it's
like
just a lot of
especially like
money.
especially when you're like in a place where the air is scary, because you're
Mhm.
like, I'm not from here. I don't know what I'm breathing. Because you feel like an alien,
Yeah,
because you don't know what it's like to be outside of America, and now you're in this tube in Dubai,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, I might as well be in America.
Exactly. Feels very familiar, and then it takes you right to the mall, and you go, "Oh, I must be in America." So, okay, so you're late teens.
Yeah, I feel like I'm dodging the whole ICP question.
No. It's good. I also like kind of talking about the actual music, because nobody ever talks about their music. They just talk about their image and this idea that their fans are a gang.
Well, what I don't get is they're taken way too seriously. You know, I mean, to me,
Mhm.
to me, most of the lyrics are tongue in cheek. You know, it's like it's funny.
Yeah,
supposed
it's
to be
very
fucking
tongue in
funny.
cheek. It's not meant to be taken seriously at all.
I don't know. And
But I've whenever they're interviewed by like journalists, and the journalists are like, very prim and proper and reading their lyrics.
did you see the Bill O'Reilly one? Like, you told a 14-year-old boy to go and get his dick sucked and to go smoke some weed. Yeah. Yeah, I did that. I wish someone did that when I was 14. You know, that's what he's going to go do.
Right.
If you watch the Howard Stern interviews from, like, when he first started putting them on to like the recent ones,
Mm-hmm.
you can see how like self-educated at least Violent J has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Because he started out mad ignorant, like on talk shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And now you can see how like educated, and I'm not gonna say worldly,
Mm-hmm.
but just how much he's grown as a
Yeah.
person in the last.
He's like
20
making
years.
an effort.
Well, it's
to-
not only that. Well, he's a grown ass man with kids and shit. You know.
Yeah, he has 2 kids, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
How about 2 dope?
Shaggy too dope as the shit. You know, he seems like he's just enjoying the ride and fucking making music.
Mm-hmm.
But Violent J seems like he's really like educating himself. At least he's speaking a lot better.
Yeah.
If you watch Howard Stern interview number 1, go into the middle and then watch Howard Stern interview with the Sharon Osbourne, and
Uh-huh.
watch it to now. It's like 3 different people.
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, he's read some books and some art, and he
Definitely read some books.
got a subscription to.
Have you ever
to
read his
newspaper.
book?
Behind the Paint?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find it yet.
Oh, what are you kidding me? I almost brought it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to borrow that from you.
I could do that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I should have brought it. Yeah, it's a fucking amazing read.
It's a good read.
It's a great read, and it's so fun because it's written almost like exactly how he speaks,
Mm-hmm.
and so the stories are good.
That's
God, that's such a good book. I'm glad I brought it. I brought it from my dad's house
nice.
when I visited him.
Yeah. Oh, because they're like some of those guys. Like I want to know what I would like to interview one of them.
That'd be great.
At some point, because I imagine they're probably, for everything that everyone says about them, probably really chill to hang out with.
I don't know. Did you ever watch their TV show?
They had a TV show.
They got this TV show on Fuse, where it's kind of like a mystery science theater.
Oh, they talk
2000s
about
of
music videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw them talking about that Call Me Maybe's video.
Oh, that's funny. I haven't seen that. I watched the first season, and it like was really contrived. It really sucked. It was
Mhm.
like, oh, this is all written. But season 2 seemed a lot better.
Yeah.
And I know I moved to New York and started
Mhm.
my life.
Yeah. So you're in Vermont, you're renting your mom's house. When do you get to New York? New York City.
Jesus, that's so far away. It seems. I guess it happened in a few years, but just in my mom's house, 19.
How old are you now?
25.
Okay, so you're 25, so you're 19.
God, I can't believe it's only 6 years ago. It feels like an eternity.
I know, dude. I've been in New York for 5.5 years, and it feels like a lifetime ago. Like the people I knew when I was living in Baltimore, it's like it almost feels like I never knew them.
Yeah, like I have a joke about this, but my friend, he's all fucked up. He can't afford his phone bill or internet anymore.
Right.
He's like fucking dead to me. I have no way of contacting this motherfucker
Mm-hmm.
at all. He's gone.
Right.
It's crazy. 2015, someone's gone.
I know. So you've been in here for you've been in New York for about 6 years, you said? So that's like 2000 and...
No, I just moved here.
Oh, you just moved here?
Yeah, dude. I fucking was homeless last summer.
Really?
What?
I didn't know that about you.
Are we like not friends?
We're friends. I guess we just never like talk like people.
All right, yeah, like I started comedy last year in March,
Mm-hmm.
and then like a couple months after, I was only working a couple like weekends a week,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the only time I could come here. And then after like one day, there's a whole fucking story with it, but I just was like,
that's good. That's what I'm here. That's why I want to do it.
all right, so you want to hear the homeless story?
Yeah.
All right, so I start in March 15th at the Creek. And I love it. I've always wanted to do it. The
Mhm.
only thing that was holding me back was just like, I was afraid to do it anywhere else but New York, which,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of wish I started like earlier in Vermont. I guess there wasn't much of a scene when I was 19.
Right.
Carmen Legales from there, and she was, like we were talking about it through like the years. And when I was 19, it was kind of like just starting. But I didn't start anywhere else in New York. And I was like, oh, this is great. I had a job. I only could work a couple weekends. It was security.
Mm-hmm.
I got swindled. First time in New York, I got fucking swindled out of $500.
Damn, how'd that happen?
I went to this place through Craigslist saying, we'll help you get a security license, we'll help you get a job. And I was like, oh, yeah. I fucking gave them money, fucking $500. They sent me to this class, and everybody in the class got swindled.
Yeah.
We all paid $500, and the teacher was like, yeah, it's like a fucking $150 class. And everyone was just so pissed off. But it was a fun class. And I was like, this is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Were you able to get a security job out of taking that class?
They didn't help me out. But who I was learning karate and boxing through, he got me, he hooked me up with some security. And they gave me work through the weekends, which was enough to pay my fare to New York and back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like worth it because I was doing work on the weekends. I was doing comedy, and I would stay at my friend Carlos's house, he lived in an abandoned building. He and some Rasta men went inside this place, changed the locks, just cleaned it up, and so I would stay there. And then one day he didn't call. I couldn't like call him in advance and be like, hey, I'm gonna come down this weekend.
Right.
Like, he was the kind of guy where you just have to call and be like, hey, I'm here. Can I sleep over?
Right.
And so one day he just didn't pick up, and so I hung out the creek in the cave until they closed. I went to Columbus. No, I like walked around Times Square, and until the sun came up, and then I slept in Central Park. And I was like, this isn't so bad. And so I was like, I fucking went to my dad's, picked up a bunch of clothes, stuffed them in a backpack.
This is your dad's back upstate?
No, it's in Easton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
That's where he lives now. And which is like a hour and a half, 2-hour bus ride.
Okay. And
when I was homeless, I always had a bus ticket back to Pennsylvania. So I never really felt homeless. I just had nowhere to sleep.
Right. You had like and you had like an in case of emergency break glass.
Yeah, like I had
situation. You had an escape plan.
I had a smartphone. My dad's paying my phone bill for me. And
you're just you're crashing and you're staying out till like 4 every night and then crashing in the park?
Well, I would hang out until it closed, watched all the shows at the creek and the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go to Columbus Circle. Like, this is my routine. I'd go to Columbus Circle, and I would hang out there and look at the CNN tower, or the CNN clock, which I think they changed.
Mm-hmm.
And when the sun started to come up, or I started, like, seeing people jog around, I'd go into Central Park, and I would go, like, kind of deep until where, like, the sun was kind of coming up, or, like, it was bright, and then I'd lay my sheet down, and I'd lay down on top of it and sleep in my backpack. And then wake up. I'd like make sure I was underneath a tree. My first sleeping day in Central Park, I burnt myself so fucking bad.
Sunburn?
Oh my God. This fucking European lady woke me up after a couple hours, and I was so bright red. I had to help my dad move apartments that day.
Oh my God.
Not that day, that week. It was so crazy.
My God.
I always slept underneath trees after that.
I guess that's your first lesson. Yeah. One of your early lessons. Yeah. So you were homeless, and your dad knew you were homeless?
Yep, my dad's the only one that knew. But actually not really, because I told everyone I was staying with Carlos more than I was. Did I get close to the mic? I feel like I'm louder now.
No, you're fine.
I'm just getting excited.
No, it's good.
I'm yelling into my own ear.
No, it's good. It's good, man. So what's your dad's reaction to you sleeping in the park?
I think I'm lying to him. Honestly, I don't really know. I like kind of blocked everyone out. I was so like happy. I was so excited doing comedy. Like like I started doing comedy all the fucking time.
Yeah, like 14 sets a week, that kind of thing.
That's what I do now. I mean, that's like being lazy, dude. 14 sets. That's only 2 a day.
No, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Like
the most
open mics I did was 7 in one day.
Nice. How did you manage that?
On a Sunday, got up early, hit a couple mics that had the same, start time.
Oh, cool.
Like, if you can hit like 2 6 o'clocks, 2 8 o'clocks, that shit's almost done.
Yeah, pretty much. I used to be like really like hardcore. I think like the most I ever did in a week was like 18. That used to be kind of my routine, and then I kind of burned out on being out at the pit until 2 in the morning every single night and waking up at 4 to go. I was working at Starbucks at the time, and I'd wake up at 4.
I had a pretty good setup when I first got an apartment. Was when I got this job.
Yeah, real quick. I don't mean to interrupt. How long were you doing? Were you homeless and sleeping in the park?
It's hard to tell because like time is
Kind of just blurs together.
Yeah, I had like with that job I had enough money for food, Subway, and weed. So time, is all fucking shitty.
Gotcha.
But it was like 3 months, 2.5 months.
And this was like in the winter?
No, this is in the summertime.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like from like at March, April, May, I was doing like the fucking coming into town and doing open mics. And then June, July, August. Yeah, I think like June, July, August is when I was doing that. And then September, I got a place in the middle of September.
Nice.
Like just in time too. I got good weather that summer too. I only had to hang out inside. I mean, I only had to hang out in the subways a few times.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like what would be happening? Like rain or just?
Yeah, just rain.
Gotcha.
Like wind, I would just cover up. I had all my clothes, so I would just wear all my clothes. I didn't jerk off for like 2 fucking months, and then one day I was working security, and I was like stationed by the porta potties, and it was just an overnight gig.
Yeah.
And my smartphone, I had this battery, so my phone was like always charged, and like I'm fucking jerking off in this toilet. And
well, after 2 months, yeah.
It was like I had nothing to do, and then then I remember another security gig. I was in this chair, like I was in the dark, but I was like kind of outside, and I jerked off like through my pants, and I put like a sock around my dick, and I just like jerked off into the sock. And I was like, man, this is a problem. I gotta either find a place to go or find a place. I gotta stop jerking off again.
in public. So did that become like a compulsion?
No,
for you?
it was just I did it twice when I was homeless.
Yeah,
like within like days of each other. But the thing is,
well, that's good that you weren't like one of those like jerk off on the subway and like stare at people.
That's a fun homeless guy.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a guy who's embraced his situation.
That's not a following his dreams homeless guy. That's I did it homeless guy. No, like the one that was outside. Like I don't even think I've ever told anyone this. But the one that was outside, it was like I was there sitting there for another 4 hours. Nobody's coming to check on me. Nobody. Like the reason why I'm in this chair is because they have an extra person. So they're like, "Oh, go sit over there." So I jerked off outside in New York City when I was homeless and employed.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you live the dream of doing comedy in New York.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it if you don't have rich parents or a good job or an education.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Right.
I only got rousted by the cops once.
Yeah.
The trick is to sleep on top of your sheets and blankets because they think you're sunbathing.
Ah, that's a good plan.
The one time I got rousted, I wrapped myself up because it was a little windy, and they like poked me with a stick, and then, oh hey, sorry, you're not homeless. And I was like, no.
Right.
No.
That's like one of those good check your privilege moments, and it feels good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've had a lot of. I never realized how great it was to be white until I moved to New York City, like permanently. Like when you're surrounded by white people and you're poor, you're like, oh, I know what it's like. I'm fucking poor. All these.
Right, but
when you're here and you're just it's shoved in your face, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, you all those like little details of that you miss out on when you're. For lack of a better word, like when it's more of a white trash, poor situation. So, okay, wow. So that's a hell of a story, man. I like this about you.
I feel like I can tell it better.
I was captivated by it.
Oh, okay.
So you started doing comedy while you were homeless. Let me ask you this: how does comedy come into it for you? How do you become aware of stand-up?
Oh, I was 13. I saw George Carlin. I've always wanted to do it since then.
Oh yeah, what
Yeah.
did you see him live or did you see a HBO special?
I saw him live.
Me
No,
too, dude.
I saw well, actually, I listened to a cassette tape back in school or back in town. It was the one
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that one.
my sister went to see him with her mother at whatever, who cares what college.
Yeah, so okay.
Bought my dad the cassette tape at 13 years old. I find it. We listened to it together.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fall in love with it.
Yeah. Do you remember like one of the bits that really grabbed you?
Yeah, a mouse. You know, you can't put a necklace on a mouse. He's got no fucking neck or shoulders. It just slides down. He thinks it's a belt. What does he know? He's a fucking mouse. I would tell that at school every day, and I never got a laugh. And I was like, "There's something.
Yeah.
There's fucking something to this guy. It's more than what he says."
Yeah, there's something else about it, and I loved his absurd like observational stuff.
It's great.
That was like my favorite stuff of his. Like off of Jammin' in New York, he would do that bit about you ever look at your watch and you don't know what time it is? I loved that.
And then someone asks you what time it is. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. So Carlin was it for you, and
Yep.
so at 13, and then it takes you like 6 or 7 years to finally to get on stage.
No longer.
Because I was the same way. Like I went to college for theater and then started listening to Mitch Hedberg albums my sophomore year, and I was like, I think I want to try doing stand up because that's how I learned that you can just say random absurd thoughts and that's comedy.
You want to know who else I loved? I don't consider one of my favorite comics, but who at the time was my second favorite comedian because of his Comedy Central special and his last comic standing.
Mm-hmm.
Dat Fan.
Dad fan.
For a year, maybe less, I thought Dat Fan was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen him do nothing. I always like Google him.
Yeah, every now and I check in with try to follow guys like that too, because that fan, he won, and then he hasn't really done.
Well, he's making money off of stand-up, and that's the goal. But
Yeah,
like as a fan, I'd like to see, I just like
like him do a special or an album or something.
for sure.
I always wonder that too.
I saw this book, and I was like, oh, I have this book, and then
Oh, which one?
Love All the People, the Bill Hicks transcribed stuff.
Oh yeah, I loved that. It's like a bunch of his stand-up routines, like written out word for word.
Yeah.
And it has like all the heckler comebacks are in the transcripts as well.
The book I have has a bunch of like a crazy person had it first. There's a bunch of like highlighted stuff. That's weird.
Yeah, I'll show you this too, just to kind of get and switch topics.
You gonna transcribe this? That's fucking cool, dude.
I haven't planned on it, but I always imagine like if one of these podcasts would be like a 2-person, like if it got like really interesting, it'd like read like a Tennessee Williams play, just like really like a taut drama back and forth. But I'll show you this. This is the Bill Hicks Principles of Comedy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is they have these on the wall at the Laughing Skull in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's a lot of like some of it I really agree with, and then some of it seems like a bit of a stretch, but at a certain point, but it made more sense as I read it.
I just been reading this and not listening to a word you're saying. You gotta show me this after. This is
no. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. I'll read you one of the ones that I really like, and this bugs a lot, and this really bugs me at clubs and stuff. Is never ask the audience how you doing. People who do that can't think of an opening line. They came to see you tell them how they're doing. Asking that stupid question up front just digs a hole. This is the most common mistake made by performers. I want to leave as soon as they say that.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah, it's a lot of. Yeah, we'll talk about. I'll show you this more after, but it's a lot of just basic technique stuff. Like it doesn't make you it wouldn't turn you into him reading that, but it's really good stuff.
The first one is be yourself,
and that's
I like that. It's like the supply and demand thing he says is funny.
Yeah, and I feel like do you feel like you're better at, like you're yourself on stage? I feel like I'm better at it.
No, I suck. I'm still super terrible at this. Like, what I've been doing a lot lately is the dump, because I feel like instead of like telling these things that I wrote,
Yeah.
it lets me be in the moment and tell a story.
Yeah, the dump is a storytelling open mic run by a guy named Jake Hart, also at the Creek in the Cave every Wednesday at 8.
And produced by Mike Guild.
Mike Guild. I got to get him in here. He's another guy who he's got some of like the best stories.
Mike has the craziest stories, and he's such a fucking cool guy too.
Yeah, I love those kind of guys. The kind of guys that just have the stories that make you go, "Wait, how are you not dead?"
I don't know
beat
how
up?
he has lived so much, and I haven't. Like, that's what sucks, is that he's got all these crazy stories, and I was homeless, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I had a smartphone. It was pretty fun. You know, I had a good time. I was doing comedy and bathing in the Creek in the Cave bathroom.
Right. Do you have a bit about being homeless?
No, I'm just barely being able to tell the story and have that be funny, but I still suck at this, you know?
Right. So you've been, dude, how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it every day since June or whenever I said I went homeless.
Mm-hmm. So June, that would be June of last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at about a year and a half.
Yeah.
But doing it like multiple times a day, so that's only going to shorten the learning curve, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's why I like.
So you're going about it the right way, I think.
That's why I like the storyteller mic, because it lets me be me up there.
Yeah, I kind of found that too, and that mic in particular was also the first time I'd gotten like really, really honest on stage.
Oh yeah, you get some honest shit there.
So you found that going to the dump allowed you to kind of
just be
really,
myself.
really open up and be yourself on
Just be myself.
on stage.
You know.
That's good, man. So it's Carlin. So it was Carlin early on, and because the thing I find about the storytelling mics is, again, you find that you get that ability to get like really honest on stage, and that mic in particular isn't like the kind of like what I would say cushioned storytelling that like the Moth or This American Life usually is.
I don't know what you mean by cushion. I feel like you get laughs there where you would never get in an open mic in a million years. So like I feel like it's the most cushioned mic I do, as far if that's what
It's definitely the most attentive mic. Like even if you're not getting a punchline out every 30 seconds, as long as you're captivating, you'll keep the people in the room's attention. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which I think is really great. Would you ever see, because would you ever see like wanting to do like a long form storytelling thing, or like working more in just those circles?
I don't know what that means.
Well, there's this like, and I talked to David Lawson about this. There's this sort of almost like, there's a storytelling community of people that just do these like long form stories, and then there's a stand-up community which focuses on laughs. I feel that they're still in like the same circles.
Well, I feel like storytelling is a skill that as a comedian I have to work on, just like a muscle. It's like if I was a bodybuilder, I need to do my triceps or my lats or some muscle.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something I gotta be good at if I'm gonna be the best.
Mm-hmm. That's a good analogy to the gym, because a lot of times that's what we're doing is when you get on stage and you're doing these different types of sets and different types of shows, it's working those different muscles. Mm-hmm. I know what you mean too, because I like being able to write the really short quip, because I think that might be how I'll get a job someday. But I also like being able to do
a job.
I like doing the long form. I like doing the long form stuff too, because I find it more, definitely more emotionally satisfying.
I like telling stories, but I can never see like myself being a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
yeah. Well, I know what you mean. I kind of need to.
Like, I find it so hard to like write jokes of the things that happen in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm just barely getting to the point to where I can tell it in an entertaining way. Like, I don't even think it's that fucking good. Like, that homeless story, I've told it better. Trust me.
I hear you, but it's still fucking good, man. That's the kind of stuff I like. As life beat me up, as I got beat up by life being in New York, I found to really enjoy that kind of really just honest. Hey, these are my terrible. This is like my. I had hardships, and then they were hilarious, and I got through it. Like I started to enjoy that stuff more than as opposed to just absurdism and like I know how stand-up comedy works, so I'm gonna play with the format kind of thing.
Well, that's why it's fun to go to the storyteller mic and just listen to people. You know, I'm always surprised by like when you see someone you haven't seen there, and then they come and tell like a story that knocks your socks off.
I know that isn't that the greatest feeling? Like Mark Abbott's Tupac story.
I never heard that.
Oh, it's good. I don't know if it's online anywhere, but find a way to hear that because it is.
Did you see Tupac?
Yeah, without spoiling it, yeah, there's a good deal of interaction.
Was it before or after he was dead?
Well, he was kind of vague on that part.
I feel like Tupac faked his own death, and then he was he died later on.
After he faked his death.
Yeah, I feel like he would have came back by now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I figured he would have made there's got to be a reason that there's so much more music that keeps coming out.
Because he was just a guy probably on coke in a fucking studio, just fucking yelling into a microphone these awesome lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like didn't he do all that shit a cappella, or like did he do it like a regular fucking?
I don't know.
Like he didn't do it to the specific beats. He was just fucking putting out.
Well, I know he wrote like lyrics. Yeah, I know he wrote like lyrics constantly. So there was probably, I imagine maybe he had like people that would work on beats for him, because it seems like, and I'm only basing this on like very limited reading and stuff. It seems like there's a business of people who make beats who then try to sell beats to rappers to use for songs.
Yeah, that seems pretty lucrative.
Yeah, I always wonder about that because I know Mikey Clark does a lot of the music with.
Mikey Clark had a big career, and
Mikey Clark is Insane Clown Posse's producer.
He was like their main producer, and now like he comes in for like special tracks and like special. Like he's on every album for sure. But like there was a while where he was like exclusively their guy.
Yeah.
He did work with like Esham, Kid Rock. I think he did even some like rock bands and stuff because they were saying that in his book. And then they first when ICP first tried to hit him up, he like wasn't. I don't think he was giving him time.
Yeah.
Maybe I made that up. I gotta reread that book. It's a fun book, man. We should book club it.
Yeah, we'll have to do a follow up. We'll do like we'll do a book club podcast once we've both read that Behind the Paint.
The road story is so fucking scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, his brother tells it.
Nice.
It's very awesome. When'd you get into ICP?
It was in 2000. It was around the time Bizarre and Bizarre came out. Okay. That was like the first time I'd ever heard of them because I saw a commercial for those albums. And it was like the first time I think they had bigger distribution. So those were actually in Target, which is the only place in my town where you could go and buy CDs.
So do you buy those two albums?
Yeah, I bought those two albums. And I think the first, and it's the first one I listened to was, Take Me Away was one of the first songs.
Those are two albums I haven't bought. Those might be like two of the only albums. Besides, I haven't bought Tunnel of Love.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bought the Bazaars. And the last two albums, I guess 3.
Yeah. I didn't get what was the one they did? Terror Wheel?
No,
that was an EP.
The roller coaster one.
Yeah. You know the one I'm talking about, right? The one that had the tower on it?
No.
That's like the only, that and the new Joker's cards, those are the only albums I bought. Like I dropped off kind of after.
I haven't listened to the last two, but fucking the Mighty Death Pop is legit. Mighty Death Pop is fucking good. It might take you. You might have to listen to it twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's not fucking Carnival of Carnage.
No, it's not. It's not even bang pow boom.
Bang Pow Boom was fun.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even that. That was like the first time that they kind of. I wouldn't even know what to call it.
You know that it's a new set of Joker cards.
Yes, I did know that.
Boom.
But Mighty Death Pop, that was like the first time they had like these piano based beats and stuff with like Juggalo juice.
Such a good fucking song.
Yeah,
it's a fun song, man. It's fresh. I fucking love it. That album is really good.
Mm-hmm. I would love to be. This is something. I have 2 ICP related things that I would like to do in comedy, and that's I would perform at the Gathering if they asked me.
That's one of my goals. I'm going to reach out to them eventually. When I get good enough,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to reach out to them. It's one of my goals in comedy to perform at the Gathering.
Yeah. I think that would be. I think that would be a memorable. That would be a memorable weekend because I've never been, but I imagine it's a fun time.
I feel like my shit. Like I feel like I'm gonna have to change my stuff for Juggalos. I feel like.
I think I would have to too.
Me too.
Because I'm too heady sometimes.
Oh, that's insulting. The Juggalos.
I'm not trying to insult
What are you
Juggalos.
saying? Just because we're gonna be drunk and partying during your set? Not listening.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that I might want to take another set to like work in obscure references into.
Oh, it'd be so fucking fun.
Yeah.
Have you been to a gathering or concert?
No, never seen him live either.
No, damn, dude, you should have came fucking the other week at Poughkeepsie. It was the last concert of the tour.
Mm-hmm.
So they used all of their fucking Faygo.
Yeah.
There was so much, it fucking went through, and it was dripping into the men's bathroom.
I think I read about that.
Oh, it was amazing. It was fucking amazing. I couldn't even change my clothes in the bathroom. It was so fucking coming from the walls. There was a sink filled up with Faygo,
mm-hmm.
which isn't their fault. That sink is clogged.
Right.
The sink is clogged.
Yeah.
But it was full of Faygo, dripping from the ceilings, from the lights. It was amazing.
And do you know if they played that venue a lot?
They've been there before, yeah.
Yeah, because I wonder when like stuff like that, because that's one of my other things. I want to be, because I saw one, the DVD that came with the Rafe, the like home video DVD of one of their performances. They have people to just spray Faygo during the set. I want to be one of those guys who just goes up and just sprays Faygo or wears like a mask or something.
They like paint you up as like Frankenstein or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time I've been painted up as Frankenstein.
Good.
That's my go-to when you're this go-to. Tall.
Your second could be Quasimodo.
Mm-hmm.
You just put like a pillow on your back. And be like,
yeah.
Where's my bell?
Mm-hmm. Sanctuary.
Oh man.
Good shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, just because I don't want to keep you, but let's close on pinball.
Okay.
If we can, because and I had Mark in, we spent a good like 20 minutes dissecting our championship from last season.
Did I come up?
I don't think you did. I think we mostly talked about how I think we started celebrating a bit too early.
Last year?
Yeah. Before.
Oh, you're talking about the finals.
Well, I want to talk about the finals this year with you, because I was that last match was a bummer. For anyone who doesn't know, the Creek in the Cave, which we've mentioned a couple times here in this conversation, it's
like a comedy clubhouse.
Yeah, you basically can
with a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, it basically has everything you need. It has TV, comedy stage, Mexican food, and 8 pinball machines. There's no reason to ever leave it, and a lot of people don't.
Yeah, they really support our art.
Yeah, and one of the things is a pinball team that me and Joe are on, and what did we end up coming in, like third or fourth?
We didn't win. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
You know, like this was a emotionally exhausting season. I mean, I don't know if I'm even gonna play again.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's rough right now. Like, depends on who captain is.
Right.
Depends on everything, man. I don't know.
No, I hear you. Like to get that, to get so close last year and just miss it was kind of a bummer. And then as my life gets busier and busier, it gets harder and harder to find time to put in 3 hours to practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about fucking venue changing, man? That sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready to stomp some mud holes.
Right.
Martians.
Yeah. Because what happened was we had all practiced at this one bar where it was supposed to be for a couple of days before. So we're not hobbyists really at this point. We comics, I think, are really good at getting really seriously into things that are not that important.
You should see me play football on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I fucking scrape myself up.
Yeah. So, have you always been really good at pinball?
No.
Like, when does that start?
I started pinball when I had a little extra cash and was waiting to get called up at open mics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'd play nights with Tim Warner. Taught me a lot of pinball.
Yeah.
You know, he's like my pinball sensei.
Sure. Yeah.
And I really got into it. I feel like I really got good this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Last pinball game, the last playoff match. I could have had like 5 points for the team.
Yeah.
But we already won, so I was like, yeah, give him that.
Totally. Yeah, I think you were really strong this year. I felt like I was sort of like second string this particular season. Like, I had some games where I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you even doing?
It happens, man. But you get a life. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I might take a season off. I might come back. It depends on. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Maybe I'll be captain. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I think you could do it. I might find a way if I could. I don't know if I could make every single game, but I would like show up and practice for like the really important ones, or maybe the ones that didn't, or maybe the like next to important ones.
I don't know, man. That's the thing is everyone wants to be the hero, but you gotta play every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can show up every Monday. Like, I was talking to Tim. I was like, I just want to do the home games. And he's like, yeah, fucking everyone wants to do the home games. That's the games you're good at.
Right.
You fucking win on the road. And so, I can't be a part of. I can't half-ass anything.
No, yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
So like, I don't know. It's still too close to the season for me to decide. But I'm feeling like I might be like a Michael Jordan with my retirements.
Yeah, just kind of come back every other.
Maybe.
year.
I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll see where we both end up.
So we're gonna reread this book and try this again.
Yeah, let's. We'll both read Behind the Paint, and then we'll come back and we'll do a
I
book
feel like we
club
didn't
review
touch
of
on
it.
ICP at all.
I thought we did.
Did we?
Yeah. Like, was there? Did you have anything for me you wanted to know about?
I don't know. I feel like we just talked about me. I feel like a jerk.
Well, that's also kind of what I want to do too.
Okay.
Well, we'll do a follow up, and where it'll be more. It'll be like all ICP centered, and then we'll do like a book club for the book.
That'll be fun. I fucking want to read this book now.
Cool.
I got it at home.
Cool, man. And then you'll let me read it too.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Fucking love your setup here, man. It's so professional.
Thank you, dude. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, come and do my podcast.
I will, man. Yeah, anytime. Just let me know.
East Coast Poverty Fraudcast on SoundCloud. Pretty sure there's a Twitter for it, but nobody follows that shit.
Awesome. What's your Twitter?
Oh, it's Bong Rips the Book.
Well done. It was good talking to you, Joe.
Thanks, man. It was nice hanging out with you.
Definitely, I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi. So this is Will, Carey, and Joe Roberts again, completely organically back in the conversation. Well, because I wanted to make sure that we discussed this because it sort of came up when we were talking before.
Yeah, I was saying how I'm just so glad I didn't get into Bill. Like, I wasn't doing comedy when I discovered Bill Hicks. Because
Right.
I fucking went through a Bill Hicks phase, like, hard.
Yeah.
Like, I wore all black. I still do. You know, I'm coming out of that shit.
Yeah, because you kind of feel like you have to, you find the person you admire and you go, I'll start with this.
Yep.
And then I'll get
dress
to
like
me
him.
eventually. I kind of did the same thing with Mitch Hedberg. I had like my first couple of open mics, I was like completely in his delivery system, like just like looking down at the ground and going, all right.
All right. You know what I'll do? I'll throw in a Gary Marinoff. Fucking Brendan Sager, who's hilarious, taught me this. I'll throw in a Gary Marinoff, and after a joke bombs, I'll be like, hell yeah. I fucking discovered a juggalette introduced me to Bill Hicks.
Yeah, and
juggalospace.net.
Is that website still up?
Probably, man. You have to get like permission to join it. Like, you don't just join it because they don't have like any. I mean, sure, trolls go on there, but
Sure.
I got an argument with this asshole on there. He was like, "Yeah, ICP sucks. I'm still a juggalo. Like, I like Twisted and Boondocks and shit." And it's like, you're a fucking redneck who listens to Boondocks. Nah,
right.
maybe, I don't know. But it just seemed very strange to me that you fucking like ICP.
And then still like all of those other arts, because you figure it would sort of all blend together.
I guess, but ICP's funny, and not a lot of people dig that, I guess.
I guess not. So someone like on a message board introduces you to Bill Hicks?
It was like a chat room.
Okay, so it's a chat room. How does that start?
It was after my ex and I broke up, and after my
the fiance?
Yeah, and
okay.
After my homie was living with me at the time, who actually introduced me to ICP. And he bounced back to Vermont. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be back." And he's still fucking there.
Right.
Still in Vermont. He lived with me for like 2 months. One night after my ex and I broke up, like, we drank a bottle of 151, and like I didn't get drunk enough, I guess. And we went to New Jersey liquor store because it's open later.
Yeah.
And 'cause it was just over the bridge where I lived. And I was like, "Yo, we want to get drunk quick." And
right.
we got Everclear, and she warned us. She was like, "You got to be really careful about this stuff." Do you know what Everclear is?
It's 90% proof.
Everclear
grain
is
alcohol.
99.9% grain alcohol.
So like you have a thimble and you're done.
I had 2 shots, and I blacked out.
Jesus Christ.
And I woke up with a big old burn mark in my carpet. And Damien was like, "Yeah, you set the fucking carpet on fire." And I was like, "That's crazy." And then he went away and he left his computer because he's like, "I'm going to be back." It was kind of like collateral, and I was using the internet. And I was scrolling through his pictures because I was trying to see naked pictures of this girl he was seeing.
Sure.
And I found this picture of him. Well, it's a picture of us, and I'm passed out on the ground. And there's like fire, like blue flame, like, I don't know, like 2 inches from my head. And him just bent over the fire, like, with his middle finger out and his tongue out, like,
Sure.
That's the end of the story. I called him, I guess. And I was like, "Hey, cocksucker." He's like, "Yeah, I was fucking drunk."
And before or after this, a juggalette in a chat room says, "Hey, if you like stand-up comedy and George Carlin, you'll love Bill Hicks."
Yeah, after she was like, "You should listen to his joke on I want to say it was the cigarettes."
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the first bits of his I saw too.
That cigarette, the whole thing is so fucking funny.
And you were sort of and you think you would have modeled yourself off of him if you'd seen him.
I just would have been a fucking total douche, because like
wearing a leather jacket. And
it just affected me so much. It really did. I like fell in love with it. I was like, he's the best ever. You know.
And what do you think was the thing that you identified with him? Was it his like political?
No,
voice?
I'm pretty conservative when it comes to fucking. I'm like a hardcore conservative. If you compare me to like our peers,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, I'm a libertarian, I guess.
Sure.
But maybe it was. I don't know. It actually, you know what it was? It was that what he was saying was still so relevant to today. That's what it was.
It really is.
Because he was saying all these things about fucking George Bush, and I think maybe at the time it was Obama, maybe it was George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fuck. It doesn't matter. The president's just fucking cog that's just
Right.
turning and turning and turning with somebody's fucking fist through the hole in the cog, and there's a puppet on that hole through the fist, and on the other side of this cog, like clock thing, there's a puppet show.
Yeah, and his critiques of the way the system worked continues to remain relevant as little has changed.
Not only politically, but his ideas on like the music industry. Like you could just change out whatever fucking little girl he was using with Miley Cyrus, and fucking instead of Billy Ray Cyrus, you could say fucking Drake.
Yeah.
And it's the same joke. It's still hilarious, and it's still so fucking socially relevant.
Yeah. I always wanted to. I had this idea about what if you could like speak to Bill Hicks like on the astral plane, or like if you could like go to heaven to like talk to Bill Hicks and explain that we elected George Bush's son, explain to him what 9/11 was, explain the Iraq War, explain ISIS, explain how Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter became a bigger pop star.
You just like, I called it. Knew it.
I think that's pretty much what it would be.
Yeah, this is my ticket from ICP.
Nice. The chance.
I could have told you that a long time ago.
The image you talked about of Faygo dripping through the floor.
It's so great. My phone's not charging now because I was about to leave. But
no, it's plugged back in.
Still, well, I got a picture. I'll show you later.
And POD were on this show.
Yeah, they were really good.
Nice.
I feel so alive.
They played that song?
He was fucking in the mosh pit, and I was like, I got sucked up into that motherfucker a few times because I wanted to be near the stage, but I had this big old backpack.
Sure.
So like they were like, "Yo, fucking let's body slam against Backpack Boy."
As one is wont to do.
Yeah, I don't blame him. It was full of clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was soft. I was in a pit at Warped Tour a couple years ago, and a guy it felt like he had like a metal lockbox, like a cash box.
That's smart.
In his backpack.
That's how you stay out of a mosh pit.
That is, but he was like leading the mosh pit. I mean, it wasn't like the worst mosh pit. I've heard mosh pits at ICP shows are pretty crazy.
Yeah, like that thing was like I've never really been to a concert, but like I've been to some small bands like the Rocket Queens. They're really cool. They're a tribute band to the Guns N' Roses, and they're all like these sexy ladies.
Oh, I've heard about them. I've heard them in the like there was an article about like Led Zeppelin.
It was a good summer.
This is the same summer you were homeless.
No, this is this summer, man.
This is this summer. Okay.
This is the first homeless summer.
Well, the summer, like if you think about where you were, if you ever people say they think about where they were last year, you're killing it.
That shit, like I would fucking look up at the sky and be like, a fucking year ago today, I was waking up looking at the same fucking sky, and I had to go bathe myself at the creek in the cave, and I would just fucking like, not like cry, but I'd fucking like tear up and get real emotional to be like, yo, you can fucking do anything.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's the kind of I love hearing stuff like that. So like if I get too into my own problems, I'm just like, oh, right. Yeah, you can fucking do anything.
Yeah, man.
Cuz we're all, and the beautiful thing is I think we're all struggling, yet we're all in it together at the same time. And I kind of forget the beauty of it, cuz sometimes I'm just like, I'm so hungry to like have it be a job, you know? So the one thing I want to go over with you, and then we'll close until we do our book club, is I was showing you this earlier, and that's the Bill Hicks Principles of Comedy, and this is posted on a wall in the Laughing Skull in Atlanta. And the first one is, if you can be yourself on stage, nobody else can be you, and you have the law of supply and demand covered, which, again, I think we talked about. It's a really good lesson.
That's, I think, we're all trying to figure out, just how to be ourselves. It's hard.
It is. It is hard.
To be the person that, like, you're talking to.
Yeah.
On stage. It's fucking tough.
It's really tough. And, again, like, for me, the storytelling mics are the way I've gotten closer to that.
Me too. I just discovered that. I'm starting to do once a week.
Yeah. The second one is, the act is something you fall back on if you can't think of anything else to say.
Oh, that's fucking great.
That's something that, like, a real master. Well, that's like, I imagine I could maybe get to that point in 20 with I'm 9 years in now, and maybe when I'm 20 years in, I could maybe do that.
Well, when I first started, I don't remember how many months in, but I, like, made a commitment to, like, always riff up top, because I saw a few of, like, you know, my peers doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's something I gotta do. And so I would like write down things so I'd remember, because I'm always fucking high.
Yeah.
I'd write down, like, oh, my favorite. Oof, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I didn't realize the vibrations that would do. But yeah, whatever. Sorry.
It's cool, man. I keep a loose shot. Number 3 is, only do what you think is funny, never just what you think they will like, even though it's not that funny to you.
That's great.
I love that one. Number 4 is, never ask them, is this funny? You tell them this is funny.
That's right.
Number 5 is, you are not married to any of this shit. If something happens taking you off on a tangent, never go back and finish a bit. Just move on.
I see. I gotta get this and put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
It's like every open mic should have this on their wall. Like, why isn't this at the creek?
Yeah. We should post this should get one of these and post
I'll
at
fucking
the
put
creek.
one up and ask Rebecca if I can put it up.
Yeah.
Keep going. I keep more. I like being read to. It reminds me of, like, being a child. That's why I love audiobooks. This podcast also is brought to you by Audible.
Mm-hmm.
If you type in what is it, the Doug Stanhope podcast, you get a 5 months off. That's Will Carey's sponsor.
I eagerly await being sponsored by Audible.
If you type in Doug Stanhope podcast, Will Carey gets a nickel.
I need that nickel, folks. I really need to get that nickel.
Because he owes me like 5 nickels.
Yeah. I owe him 5 nickels, so if I can get 6 nickels, I'll have 1 nickel. I'll be good.
Because that fucking Jurassic Park game only took quarters.
Yeah, dude.
That was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The whole night.
Because how often do you have quarters? I digress. Number 6, never ask the audience how you're doing.
I like that.
People who do that can't think of an opening line. They come to see you tell them how they're doing. Asking that stupid question up front just digs a hole. This is the most common mistake made by performers. I want to leave as soon as they say that. Number 7 is, write what entertains you. If you can't be funny, be interesting. You haven't lost the crowd, have something to say, and then do it in a funny way.
These are great.
Yeah, that one I definitely do hold on to, because I'd rather. I find that more a better way of holding the audience's attention, as opposed to, like, lashing out or melting down like something like I've seen happen sometimes.
I'm not good enough to blame the crowd. You know, I'm white belt. You know, it's always on me. If I eat a dick, that's on me. It's never you.
Yeah. No, I hold that too. Like, you can make exceptions for, like, if it's 1 a.m. and there's 3 people and they're half asleep, but
oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, you think... I'm not going to say Louis C.K. because he's so famous, but do you think fucking, like, that Sam Morella guy or something came in, he wouldn't fucking get 3 people laughing?
Oh,
I mean,
he could make... There are definitely guys... Yeah, you're right. There are definitely guys
you can never blame it on the... Like, when you're this shitty,
work.
and you're as shitty as us, you can't blame it on the audience ever.
I think that's actually a good way to... When you're beginning, a good way to approach it, because then it staves off that delusion that you're better than you are.
And the thing is that you're so bad.
For so long, too. Like, it takes a while to just be kind of okay at this.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Number 8, I close my eyes and walk out there, and that's where I start. Honest.
I don't get it.
I guess he does. I guess that's his way of saying he doesn't prepare too much.
Oh, that's good. Like, I think it's important to think. I feel like if I write down a list, then I'm checking the list.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have a list to write down, I ain't checking it.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I usually I'll do a list when there's, like, I know I want to try this joke at this mic, but I've been trying to get better about just not being too married to the script when I'm doing, like, an actual show.
Mm-mm. That's what I gotta do. I get to, like, I gotta do this joke. And the thing is, like, I wrote that joke when I wasn't as funny as I am now. So just fucking do what I was playing with last night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a fucking Saiyan. Well, a Saiyan.
You're Super Saiyan.
Nah, not yet.
Right.
I'm like, I still got my tail and shit.
I hear. Yeah. Listen to what you are saying. Ask yourself, why am I saying it, and is it necessary? This will filter all your material and cut the unnecessary words. I do agree I agree with that, because I like economy of words, like saying as little as possible to get the most laughs.
He would have been a motherfucker on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. Like, can you imagine, like, Bill Hicks in the age of Twitter?
I'd like to see Bill Hicks in the Obama age with drones and stuff.
Oh yeah, he'd have some serious opinions.
It'd be great.
It'd be so good. An entire...
If you could bring back one person back to life in history, who would it be?
One person back to life in history. Gosh, that's... Because I feel like there's maybe... Like, it's too easy to... I feel like bringing back a musician is, like, too selfish.
Mm-hmm, but because it's so subjective.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like comedy's super subjective.
Yeah. And then politicians... maybe, like... would probably need to bring back, like, an assassinated activist, like someone who's doing a lot of good and wasn't later proven to show a great amount of hypocrisy.
Like who? Like Martin Luther King?
That's the first one that comes to my mind.
I don't think he could last in 2015.
Yeah.
Like, he'd have, unless he adapted to be like a 2015 man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one back then could fucking last in 2015 because everyone was slapping their wife.
Yeah, well, the culture now is just... I imagine it would just be so alien, just like someone from the 60s,
The left is eating themselves.
It does seem to be that a lot of that is happening, and like the arguments are, like the arguments that are being had are keeping me like, they almost make me not want to, like, even engage in the argument, because I'm like, okay, this is just going to not accomplish anything. I'll just do the research and have my opinion. I don't
know. This is so crazy. It's like we live in the safest time ever, but everyone's scared. You're less likely to get murdered now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna kill you.
I'm glad you're not gonna kill me, Joe. Glad you're not gonna stab me. Glad you don't stab people.
Hey, let's not jump to conclusions.
Alrighty.
It's 10.
Let's say 10 is play to the top of the intelligence of the room. There aren't any bad crowds, just wrong choices. Which again goes back into not blaming the audience.
Yeah, I just said that. That's a good rule, Mr. Hicks.
2 more. Number 11 is
12 rules?
there are 12 principles of comedy on this list. Number 11 is remember this is the hardest thing there is to do. If you can do this, you can do anything. That's nice. And then to close it out here,
Big closer.
I love my cracker roots. Get to know your family. Be friends with them.
What was that again?
I love my cracker roots. Get to know your family. Be friends with them.
He says crackers. You mean white people?
Probably means white people. Because he's from Arkansas, I believe.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Billy.
Again, family's never ending. Probably is the source of a lot of this shit.
You know, I patched everything up with my parents before I started comedy. I don't know if that gives me an advantage or disadvantage, but I love both my parents very much, and they've been nothing but supportive.
That's good, man. It's good to have that reconciliation because, like, I don't know if you had anger towards any of them at any time, but
Sure.
I definitely had that too. That towards my dad, and then like my girlfriend is very like dragging me, kicking and screaming, trying to get me to reconnect with my dad, and it's starting to happen somewhat, and I felt a lot better.
Well, the thing that helped me is just like thinking of them as people. You know, like they're just two people that fucked, and then you're the outcome, and now they're just these two people that have a kid. You know, I can't. My mom had me with a 40-year-old man at my age. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, and you start to kind of, as you begin to understand, I think as you understand and life kind of, again, kind of jostles you around. Maybe like after you've slept in a park for a couple months, you start to kind of realize, oh wait, dealing with me was.
I'd hit me too.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I started giving myself my own spanking, metaphorically.
Oh, that's all right. I was hoping it'd be like the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, like flogging myself?
Give yourself a good flogging.
I probably did that metaphorically for a bunch of years. I never.
At least get the thigh wrap.
Yeah. Just at that point, go the full stigmata. Give yourself a crown of thorns. Hand injuries.
They gotta put them through the wrists. They actually put them through Christ's wrists.
Yeah, they did. The
hands are too weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would just cut right.
Oh God! Imagine me the first guy they figured out you can't put them through the hands.
I'd hate to.
Oh God! Get 2 more nails. You'll never guess what happened.
The hands don't work.
Yeah, it's only for the little guys.
Oh gosh,
that was nice. I'm glad we.
I'm glad we
did the reboot.
Yeah, me too, man. So
this feels like it ended.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk again after we read the book.
Yeah, book time.
Cool.
Time to read.
Thanks, man.
That was fun.
Okay, folks, that's our show. Thank you for listening. As always, you can check out my website, willcareyisfunny.com, for my upcoming stand-up dates. You can also check out my Twitter at @ComicWillCarey. And real quick, I want to plug the next edition of my show. You can use that at the Creek in the Cave. Will be next Thursday, March 24th at 8 p.m. It's a free show, and I'm going to have Aparna Nancherla on. I'm really excited about that. And check the description for links to Joseph Roberts' accounts. And I will see you guys next week between awesome and disaster. Take care.